Good evening again, everyone. Welcome to the PTM Annual Conference Day 2. All right, we have just finished our first session for the day, and this is the second session. Okay, ordinarily, I should be playing the profile of our guest. I don't know if we should take the risk. So yesterday we started this conference and we had 3 sessions yesterday. We woke up this morning and realized that YouTube had restricted all the videos. Now the public cannot view it. I am the only one that can view those videos. And when we tried to inquire, the only thing we got was that it went against certain policy. It didn't say what policy it is, or hasn't said what policy it is exactly. Now, because we had 4 sessions yesterday, a mini session where I did the welcoming and introduction, basically, and that video was not affected. And in that video, we didn't play any introductory profile. We didn't play any profile music, any profile video, and we didn't play any jingle to introduce the conference. Those were the only things. So those were the only things that we did differently, from that first video and the other 3 videos. So we're assuming there's probably something, probably background music or something in these 3 sessions that we didn't have in the first session. So that's the reason why we're leaving out reading the guest profile, and it's also the reason why we are not playing our lovely jingle that tells you about the conference and all the amazing speakers that we have. Hopefully, we would settle all this today, and tomorrow you will have all the vavavoom that comes with this amazing conference that we have put together for you. All right, so our next guest is no new face in the PTM platform. If you're following us on Facebook, Ochudo has appeared in the platform a number of times. Recently, she had a post in the group that was very, very deep and then it made waves all over the country and beyond and all of that. So Ochudo is like that. She's got deep insights with everything that she does. Please, I would like you to go ahead and read her profile on the Facebook group. Maybe what we would do tomorrow, by the time we've sorted all of this out, we'll probably play the profiles of some of these speakers that we didn't play today, so that you see the amazing people that we brought your way. People that to have 10-20 minute sessions with them, you have to do like this, and you have to do like this. Okay, but they're here doing this with us for free, not necessarily because it is free, because some other person has won the prize. Okay, all of our volunteers working tirelessly behind the scene, these are the people paying the prize. Okay, the academy paying the prize for all that it takes to have multiple internet and all of these, all of that. These are the people paying the price. All the speakers that have to leave their engagements that should be giving them big naira and dollars just to come and be here, these are the people paying the price. So the least we can do is invite as many people. Don't forget your social responsibility and your responsibility to humanity. Invite as many parents to come and hear the things that you hear. Invite as many parents to come and be a part of what we're doing here. It could be the reason a whole generation is saved. Okay, I have said this many times in this conference and before now. If you are learning, if you're gleaning knowledge, and the people in your circle are not doing the same, you will sabotage your effort, because we all need support systems. Your mother, your siblings, your friends, your colleagues, your neighbor, these people make up your support system. The help you have in your home, your domestic staff, these are all people who make up the support system. And if they do not have the knowledge that you have, when you have finished your drama and you walk away, they will come and spoil everything. Or you will just end up overwhelming yourself, because you would have to do everything yourself, because you can't trust anybody to be with your children. So you will end up overwhelming yourself, because You do not trust the people in your support system because they don't know the things that you know. And this is what our children is going to be talking to us today about, not getting yourself to that place where you get overwhelmed because you need to rest. You need a retreat. You need to be wholesome for you to raise children who are wholesome. So I'm going to bring our guest on screen right away, and I will take the backstage. Hello, Chudo. Good afternoon, man. It's good to have you here today. We can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? You're muted. You need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
You are muted.
Can you hear me now? Oh, okay.
Yes,
All
I
right.
can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so
So
hi.
thank you. We know all. I know that you had to leave a lot to be here. So we do not take
it's fine.
your time
No,
here or
at
being
all.
here for granted.
It's
All right,
an
so I'm
honor,
just going to
really.
go
It's an honor, Mary
backstage
Beth.
and allow you. Oh,
Okay, so I'm not sure how to go about this. Thank you for having me, first off. And I will try and make this as succinct as possible. So let's go straight to the point. But Mary Beth, I'm not really sure what angle you would like me to approach this by. Okay, so she's already left the stage. Okay. All right. So can anyone hear me? I cannot see any comments, so I'm not sure if anyone can hear me. If there's a way I can be notified that someone can hear me other than Mary Beth, I'd be very happy. Please, can I see something in the comments, in the chats, just to signify that someone can hear me? I'm looking through the chats now. I'm checking to make sure that someone can hear me. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Facebook user. Thank you. All right. So my name is Ochido Ayi, and Mary Beth has invited me here to talk a bit about retreating. First off, Mary Beth, I want to congratulate you on the successful hosting, successful planning, and successful execution of your annual retreat, annual conference, the Parents Mentorship Conference. So thank you so much for having me. I hope I got that right. Please forgive me if I didn't. Kudos to you. I know this has taken a lot of work. I know what it can take to hold a summit of this nature and to be able to bring in all those people. So it's really an honor to be here. I do not take it for granted. All those highfalutin things you were saying, please put them down. We have, after everything is said and done, parents. And what success can we really record if after all is said and done in our private lives that our children don't turn out how we want them to, or turn out even better than we imagined? So there's always something one can do to improve the quality of lives that we give our children, and we cannot give out of empty cups. We must be giving out of something. And so I'm grateful that you have me here, and I will try to do justice to the topic. So Mary Beth is back. Did you hear me? Did you hear me, Mary Beth? Okay, so I'll just get right to it. Mary Beth has asked me to speak a bit about retreating for parents. Retreating, basically. And she's asked me to address this topic because I recently put out a book on my journey to retreating. I shared in the book all the things that I know about how to retreat and the benefits I have experienced retreating. Up until a couple of years ago, a lot of us, like, I don't know, like myself, many people, me inclusive, we just drift through life. We've discovered that parenting, there's no manual to parenting. We discovered that it takes a whole lot more than many of us were prepared for. And after all is said and done, we just blunder our way through. We try one thing or the other. We do one thing or the other just to make things work. And it is no, how do I put it now? We thank God that kids turn out right, because many of us don't know what to do. And life can be very tough, because as you are learning how to parent these young children, you are also struggling with your own journey. You are trying to discover yourself, you're trying to make impact, you're trying to make income, you're trying to become someone of significance, you're trying to make sure that you can give your children the best life that they want. And at the same time, you are also growing into the stage where you take care of the parents And so a lot of people are struggling, trying to balance work, parenting, and still being a child. In fact, in my own case, I'm still a grandchild. And so there's so much juggling we have to do, so much is thrown at us. Many times we discover after many years that we don't take time for ourselves. Even the so called, for those of us in paid employment, even the so called leaves that you take, it's not something you do to rest. You take your leave, you are looking out for kids. You go on vacation, you are looking out for kids. You are planning constantly under pressure. And so many people, after many years, the kids don't turn out exactly how you want because you are unable to parent from an empty cup. Today, I want to address how you can get yourself full so that you can give the kids the best that you can. And so in my book, The Ultimate Guide to Transformational Retreats, I try to share my journey to how I began to make a difference in my own personal life by intentionally taking personal retreats. So first of all, what is a retreat? A retreat is let me just read the definition I put down in the book. A retreat is the intentional, strategic withdrawal from everyday life to evaluate, review, and consider the best direction for your preferred future. Not just for your future, but for your preferred future. I'll take that again. The intentional, strategic withdrawal from everyday life to evaluate, review, and consider the best direction for your preferred future. So every one of us has the kind of future we imagine. We don't just want a future, but we want a kind of future that leaves us resting from our hard work in our prime, that leaves us enjoying the things we imagine for ourselves and empowers us to do even more so that we can pursue the things that truly matter to us. So in undertaking a retreat, there are a couple of things that you need to know. First off, why is a retreat very important? Well, retreats are very important because even the brave warriors must retreat. Retreats are important every now and then because you need to recalibrate, you need to recalculate, you need to determine where you're going to. In fact, in the book, I started with a story, and I'm going to share why you must consider retreating. I started with the story of how I was going somewhere I was invited to a birthday party, and I got lost. And I remember that it was the direction that my host gave me that helped me find my way to the birthday party. She had to ask me where I was, what I was doing, what the landmarks around me were, if I could see any street names, what part of town was I coming from. This was because she wanted to be able to tell me, okay, you're coming from my left, so come this way, 2 stops to the right, make a turn, blah, blah, blah. It was important that I gave her an accurate description of where I was. Because if my description was not accurate enough, no matter how much she tried to help me, she will not be able to offer effective help. So I shared that story because it forced me to look at my environment to be able to give her an accurate description. So I went ahead and that became how I began to capture my understanding of retreats. Now, retreats are important, and I'm just going to share a few facts about it before I comment on why it's important. First of all, there are many types of retreats that you can undergo as a parent. In the world today, it is the way the world works. I don't know, when I was growing up, my home had a lot of domestic staff. So we had a lot of extended family who lived with us. We had nannies, we had cousins, uncles, aunties, so many people around to assist my parents in raising us. But in today's generation, I don't think, especially in a place like Abuja, I don't think it's easy to have that kind of crowd in your place to help make life easy for you. So my mom had a cook, a nanny, whatever, but the rest of us, we are juggling many things. So many times, even when we say take a retreat, it sounds like, are you crazy? Where am I going to find the time for this? There's no time to retreat. I don't even know what that is. Even if I say I'm going to retreat, right at the retreat venue, I'm going to be bombarded with one need or the other, one thing I need to do or the other. So Many times people think a retreat means just getting away from it all. There are many kinds of retreats that exist. So let me just list a few. First of all, you can retreat by even retreating in your home. It's not every retreat if you are not capable of leaving your home that you should embark. I mean, if you cannot, then you can make do with what you currently have. So there's what is called the self-discovery retreat. There are health retreats. Yes, sometimes you that you have been sick and in hospital, you do need a break from everything, from your environment, from your home. So there are health retreats. Of course, many of you know there are corporate retreats where banks and big organizations take all the staff away from their normal environment so that they can rejuvenate. So there's health retreat, there's retreat on self-esteem retreat. I discovered that in my journey that some people undertake self-esteem retreats just to be able to give themselves new energy for the future. Then we have recreational retreats. We have recreational retreats. We have entertainment retreats. Yes, sometimes people retreat from everything just to rejuvenate with entertainment. There's the kind of retreat that requires you to travel in and out of your location. There's the kind of retreat that you can take while in your location, but you tune off from everything. So those are different kinds of retreats. So don't restrict yourself to that formal. I always thought that retreats had to be very formal. I have to be very, I don't know, like I learned about retreats from church. So it sounded like I have to take my Bible, I have to be fasting, I have to be reading 3 books and listening to 1,000 messages and jotting down and all that stuff. No, retreat just simply means to withdraw. It's not every time that a retreat requires you to bombard yourself with additional information. You see, because every single one of us, right, there's a spirit in us that keeps talking and giving us direction. It tells us, you need rest at this time. Do this at this time. What you think are your ideas or thoughts that cross your mind, sometimes it's your inner voice speaking to you, telling you to do X, Y, Z. So many times when I'm thinking of retreating, you may not necessarily need to pack a whole lot of stuff to take to like we want to go on retreat, we take 3 versions of the Bible or whatever it is, and then say I'm retreating, and then you can't even finish what you took. So it's important that we have a good understanding of what retreat is. It's simply to withdraw. Sometimes I promise you, all you need is just to be alone. All you need is just to be alone. All right, so let me move from that. Why should we be retreating? I'm going to give you a couple of benefits that intentionally retreating can do for you. Number 1, retreat allows you to rest. Hey moms, from school runs, that boss at the office, running a business, you need to rest. Sometimes, I promise you, you just need one full day to go to a place and sleep from morning to night. So retreat, the benefits of retreat is that you get to rest. You get to rest. If you're not resting in your retreat, you probably are not doing it very well, right? You get to rejuvenate because it's not enough to just rest. Your body must recharge. If you are working for 24 hours, 36 hours non-stop, you don't just need sleep. You need sleep that is long enough to allow your body begin to repair broken down tissue. So you need to rejuvenate. Sometimes you need alone time. You may not need to sleep. You may not need to, you may just need time to gather your thoughts. You may just need time to gather what you're thinking, your thoughts and all of this. And I'm going somewhere, I'm going to relate how this is important for parenting. Okay? So you may need retreats to help you have a new perspective to issues. I remember one time when I needed to make a decision, and it seemed like there was no other way this decision could have been made. It required some capital which I didn't have, so I felt like terribly overwhelmed, and I just felt like I couldn't do anything about it. And I remember my husband saying, "Why don't you just take a break from this for a while? Like, don't even do anything. Don't look at it. Shut the laptop, and shut down that decision making you need to do. Take time off from us." So what I did was I like to drive. So I got into my car and I drove to the Millennium Park. And I sat down there. I ordered drinks and just all by myself on a working day. I didn't even do this on a holiday or on a weekend. I did this on a working day. And as I was sitting down at the Millennium Park and I just thinking and, I just felt some of the tension leave me. And with the tension, along with the tension, went that mind block that I was experiencing. All of a sudden, okay, all right. And before I left that place, I think I spent 2 hours there. Before I left that place, I didn't need to spend. Okay, can you hear me, please? Let me see in the comments. I went off air briefly. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so someone says retreat helps us have new perspective. Yes. So by the time I was done with that retreat, I realized that I didn't need to pay for everything at once. I got the idea to call someone, and I told the person I'm trying to make a purchase that is going to be capital intensive. I feel completely overwhelmed by the decision, and the person says, "Oh no, there's a place where you can go to and have this same purchase done and broken down for you, so that you can pay in installments." So new perspective, new solution. So retreating can help you do that. Now you see that I didn't have to travel somewhere. I love the idea of traveling for retreats. In fact, my book talks about traveling for retreats and how you can conduct your retreat. So I do a whole lot, I say a whole lot about the different ways you can conduct your retreat. But today I'm just trying to help you see that as parents, while you are in the middle of your day, while you are working, making decisions, you can still retreat so that you can get a new perspective. So I was able to discover a new solution because I just took a couple of hours off from everything to a place that normally I would not have to think about work. Okay, so another thing that retreats can do for you, number 4, is to help you make good decisions, just like I did when I took that 2-hour break to go to the Millennium Park. So it helps you make the right decisions. And what are retreats for if not to make good decisions, right? So it's not just enough to make decisions, but decisions that are far-reaching and transformational. Another thing that retreat can help you do is to tackle stress. We are all stressed up in different ways. And some of us may not realize the level of stress we are enduring until we are much older. From time to time, we must find things that we love to do and enjoy to be able to distress us. And one of the things you can do on a retreat is engage in something that you love to help you tackle stress. I won't say more about that. Another thing that a retreat can help you do, number 6, is to help you with your gratitude. When life gets hard and things are difficult, vicissitudes of life, just the managing of everything, we tend to become ungrateful. We see others who appear to be doing better or more organized or just getting their things, just gaining traction, and then we become ungrateful. A retreat helps you think very hard. Let me share a personal story. So for those of you who do not know, I had a baby last year. In the time that I was expecting the baby, it came with so much ill health that I was frightened that I may not live through the experience. And so I felt upset and not happy that I had to go through that because I'd had other children before, and it didn't have to be this painful and difficult. And now I'm having to take forced out of my regular everyday life and work just so that I could birth a child. This child came in the middle of COVID and came when I was treating COVID. So my body complained heavily, and I was unable to do a lot of things. But when baby was born, I knew that I was going to come with a lot of pressure. I knew that I needed to do something very quickly to change my perspective about the situation. Otherwise, I would be exhibiting ingratitude. So I remember that I took time off. One day, I have a garden in my house. So I sat down there, I put on some really great music, and I said, please, God, I need you to help me deal with this and prepare me for the task ahead. And I remember that a few days later, I got news of someone else who had gone through a similar experience, but the person didn't make it. And if I was not planning to be grateful before, all that flew out the window. I became grateful all because I took time to journal my thoughts about it. And I remember writing how grateful I was that I was still here, able to work. And so that brief time that I took to retreat really, really helped me. It helped me build gratitude. So there are many things in your life right now that are just basically annoying you. There are many things that are not adding up. Sometimes even the children that we love with all our hearts, they become part of the issues why we are stressed and angry. A retreat can help you be grateful. A retreat helps you remember that, well, I know people who don't have kids. I should be grateful. So so make sure that you get your gratitude on when you are retreating. Another thing that retreats help you do is take stock. Yes, we are on a roll, constantly going for PTA meetings, going to the office, going to pick the kids, looking at homework, and doing one thing or the other. For me now, I've added buying milk, buying diapers, making sure that this person's homework is right, looking at this person's uniform, what. And then there are so many things we're doing at work, but we are not conscious of it. And so we are not aware of how much we've accomplished. When you stop everything you're doing and withdraw, one of the things that you get to do is become aware of how much you have accomplished. You can take stock. Oh, okay. All right. I'm glad that I was able to do this in spite of how difficult things were. It helps you take stock. It helps you self-appraise. You look at yourself and how you're handling the challenges, and then you make a decision about it. So a retreat will help you take stock of where you are, self-appraise, do a self-appraisal, and then of course take responsibility for the areas you need to take responsibility for. You know that many of us as parents, we have what is called the Messiah's complex. We think it's our duty to do everything for everybody. The auntie in the village, the grandma here, the mommy there, the child here, the hubby there. So I'm speaking now like a mom, and I know that men have their own pressures as well. So XYZ, many different things, and they're doing all of these things. And so they take responsibility for way more than they should. If you go on a retreat will help you think a little bit about what you are taking responsibility for and what to let go of. You see that Messiah's complex? I killed it at a retreat. That Messiah's complex is where you think you have to save the whole world. So I've had it for years. I want to help everyone. I want to do everything. I bend over backwards, I accommodate a lot more, and I'm stressed out, overwhelmed, and sickly because I want to do everything. It was at a retreat I had to ask myself, why is this particular issue my responsibility? It was at a retreat that I made up my mind that I am no longer going to be giving full attention to this matter. I am going to segment my time. I am going to apportion times to XYZ. And you see, this particular matter, I'm not even going to give it attention. I'll probably pay attention to this once in a quarter. I won't waste my energy attending to this. It was at a retreat that I made that decision. So it helps you decipher, make decisions about what you need to do, and take responsibility for what is truly yours, and let go of the one that is not yours. I hope I have been able to share with you a couple of benefits that you can draw from a retreat. Now let's go on to how and what areas that you can do retreats on as a parent. Now I listed 9 main areas that you can do a retreat on, but I'm just going to narrow it to a couple of things here that you can. So they are called life areas. You have 9 life areas, but I shrunk them into 8. You have the spiritual part of your life. You have the health and fitness part of your life. You have the career and occupational part of your life. At your retreat, you need to be able to make decisions about each of these things. And I break that down even more in the book that I wrote. I can't share everything here. I wish I could. You have the relationship aspect of your life. You even have the legacy, the planning for legacy as a retreat. You have that in your life as well. Then you have your financial goals. Yes, your financial aspect of your life. What to make, how to save, where to invest, how to give. Yes, you have that. You have your personal development, because in this world, you are not going to go anywhere if you don't make an intentional decision to grow as a person. Our kids today are so smart. Part of my personal development is actually to acquire new skills to handle my children. They use things on my phone that I don't know how. I don't even know. I don't even see them. When I pick up my phone and I look at the phone, I don't even know. I don't even know how they discover those things. So if I don't make an effort to grow myself and appear to my children like I know more than them, they're going to walk all over me. You know. So personal development is a life area that you must focus on in your retreat. And so I'm just going to narrow it down to the relationship with your children and your relationship with yourself. What else? What else? What else? I don't know if I've covered everything, but let's just work with what I have. So as a parent, yeah, you must take retreats around the relationship you want to forge with your children. You must take time to make decisions in your retreat so that you can show up for your children. In the olden days, and if there are daddies here, kudos to all the fathers who are bending over backward to provide for the home, who are caregivers, who are also the main providers of the family. For those who do, kudos to the moms who are both daddies and mommies in some cases, and even to daddies who are mommies and daddies. There's a lot. So a lot is resting on your shoulders. So if you're not careful, you'll be so busy chasing life that you forget to give your children what they really, really need from you. How many of you have talked with teenagers in recent times and they tell you, my mom and my dad, they don't understand me, they don't get me. They don't do anything that will be there to show me that they know. And so when the kids are older, they have absolutely no relationship with their parents. Their parents don't know what the kids really, really like. They don't really know what the kids really want to be, like the true thing they want to be, the one that is different from the one you say. The one you say to sound like a smart kid. You know, some kids, some of the things they want to do, the African parents do not agree. But you don't even know that because there's a relationship you haven't forged with your children. I remember that it was maybe better I had to ask for help in order to forge a relationship with my teenage son on a different level. As he was growing older and became an adult, and I say an adult, woohoo! He'll soon be an adult. So as he was growing older, I noticed that his personality, or maybe not personality, but his expressions were changing. The way he communicated with me, the way he was saying things, the things he wanted to share were changing. And I was beginning to feel left out of his life. I was beginning to feel like, oh, I'm not getting this child. And if I don't take time to think this thing through, I'm going to lose this child. He can be at home eating my food and whatever, but he might be sharing his deepest issues with someone else outside. Or social media may be teaching my child. My child may not know what I believe, what I stand for, the values that I hold dear, and how I want to pass on those things to him. So I remember thinking that I needed to do something about it. And I remember I asked Mary Beth for help in that area. So it was sitting at home, making a decision to, okay, it was at a retreat that, maybe not at a big retreat, but at a private. So I have shared a lot of my private retreats, right? The small ones. It's important that I share them so that you don't think every retreat has to be a getaway. The getaway retreats are very, very rejuvenating. The change of environment, the new people and new scenery, the time away from sometimes different foods you have to eat, sometimes the fact that you are fasting and praying, the fact that you are doing different things on your retreat can take a very productive toll on your, like it can really, really rejuvenate you. But in life, sometimes, I'm just being honest, as parents, we're right in the middle of term. Who is going to be jetting up for retreat now, right? So you need to find, so I'm sharing all the short aspects of my retreat to show you that these things can be done on the go. So I met her, I remember I sat down, okay, so because I had baby, sometimes you're up all night, right? So you sit down, I play specific kinds of music that get me in the right mood and the right frame of mind. I even dance sometimes by myself, all because I'm retreating. Like everybody in the house knows when I get into that mood, right? And I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to be able to crack this code. This child is my child. I gave birth to him, so he cannot be bigger than me. He cannot have a problem that is too big for me to handle. I am capable. So we're going to sit down and we're going to think, God, how do I tackle this issue? Mary Beth said XYZ. This is what I want to do, XYZ. And this is what my child is like. How do I deal with the issue? And then I got an idea. And the idea I got was to begin to write my children letters. I got that at a retreat. Start writing letters to your children. Because anytime I said, come, I want us to have a discussion, everybody's face would just become like stone and they start frowning and what I couldn't get to them. So I sat down and I wrote a letter to my children. I wrote that letter, and in the letter I shared what I hope for them, how much I love them, and I said, take this letter, go and read it. And when I'm done, please, when you're free, reply me. Everybody wrote a letter to me. The one that wrote to me scolding me, and the one that wrote to me telling me what she wanted for Christmas. And I'm like, dang, we're on board now. I'm going to keep writing things to my children. I'm going to keep sharing information with them, information about their sexuality, information about my views, information about religion, anything and everything is okay in the letters. So I began to write. I'm going to write even more. I'm going to write about the first time as crazy as it is, I'm going to write about the first time that I fell in love, how I handled it, what I did with my friends, how I made my first money, how I'm going to tell them that these are my views as a parent. This is what I believe for them. This is why we do what we do as a family. Everything in the book, until my children begin to trust me enough to write those things back to me. It was at the retreat that I got this idea. So when you are not taking time to retreat, you are actually see, let me land here. Many times we think that our questions and the answers are outside of us. We think that the issues that we need help for is lying in the hands of someone else. Sometimes all you need is that alone time. All you need is to be well rested. All you need is a little rejuvenation. All you need is some stock taking to give you perspective. So when you do that, you can see things a bit differently. I promise you, I'm going to milk that letter writing. I'm going to milk it. I'm going to write letters to them about when I travel on holiday. What if I have a boss who did something to me? I'm going to tell them. If I feel strongly about something they did, I'll write it in a letter. I will tell them reply. In fact, one of the letters that they wrote to me, my son said something like, "Oh, finally, I have stopped shouting." You know, so that's what you can. Oh, thank you. Finally, I'm seeing. I can't see the comments very well. Yeah, the small print, but thank God. So I'm going to do all of that. And you know what that does is I'm killing two birds with one stone. In the world today, any child who cannot express them, you say, "Come see what's here now." Isn't that every mother's dream? To have a child that can speak in front of people, express himself articulately, have ideas he can share with the world in confidence, without shyness. Isn't that every mother's dream? So the fact that my children, you want to be able to train your child to express themselves. I just thought, what better way than to get my children to write me letters? When they write letters that they don't get, in the replies, I will write that, okay, that's point you made, then the way you expressed it is not too articulate. Write it like this next time. Or go and Google this word and then use this word next time to explain XYZ. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. I am bonding with my children, one, and I am also helping them develop the art of writing and expressing themselves. I just felt so grateful to God that that idea dropped in my mind when I took time to retreat. So take time to as a parent to retreat. Take time as a parent to withdraw. See, these your kids, they are going to outgrow you. They are going to, as a, all those mommies that they don't have a life outside of being a mom or a wife or a parent or a daughter or a sister. Everything about you is tied to somebody else. You have no sense of self-awareness because every type of self, every layer of you, every part of you is tied to someone else. Many of us lose ourselves in the process. Only a retreat can grant you that. When you are self-aware, then it's easier to handle the children. Do you know that when you don't take time to retreat, you are cranky? Do you know that when you don't take time to retreat and you're not very self-aware, every time okay, for instance, I was speaking with someone a few days ago, a coachee of mine, and she was narrating something that was happening between her and her husband. And she said she's a very analytical person. The husband is not, well, he's analytical, but he doesn't like being analyzed. So every single time they were having any issues in the house and she wants to address the issue, he would say he would be offended. And anytime he got offended, she would feel slighted. So I took her through a self-awareness. We had a self-awareness exercise. I took her through that self-awareness exercise, and in 1 week, she became aware. Okay, this is how I am. Okay, this is why I get offended. It's because I feel slighted in this area. It's because I haven't acknowledged the area where I am great at something. That lack of self-awareness, right? So when next she had that conversation with her husband, and the husband reacted, instead of feeling offended and feeling okay, oh, yeah, I've said my own. I'm not going to say anything in this house again. Nobody should ask me for any. I don't have any suggestions to add to this house. She recognized that okay, her husband is not a personal attack on her. She's now aware that the way I analyze things can put some people on defensive. So let me tone it down and come up like this, like this, like this. And that awareness helped her deal with the husband's reaction to her differently. I used to feel so offended with my son. My son is bold and he can challenge me a lot. Anytime he did that, I just felt slighted. And the next thing I would be shouting the whole place down. People in my house know this boy is rude. This boy is rude. And all because I am feeling unappreciated on those negative things we say to ourselves. So it took me time to think. When I got the idea to write the letters, I also expressed to him how he's the way he expressed, reacted to me sometimes, how I felt about it and everything. And he was like, oh no, mommy, this is not how I feel. It's because sometimes I feel like you don't respect my opinions and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, I didn't mean it, So when next he did anything that I was about to start getting angry, but I just remember that, okay, Osi, calm down and respect his opinion. Ask him, okay, what were you thinking when you did that thing? Did you intentionally want to disobey me, or did you not understand all of that stuff? Retreating, a cup that is full can help other people find their way. But when you are empty, you struggle to find your way. You struggle to be there for family. You struggle to be there for children. And then you struggle. And then finally, as parents, another area I want to talk about is legacy. How we prepare for our children. So what do we want to leave for them? How do we plan their futures to be? Sometimes we are so busy making money, we are not really sat down to think, what am I leaving behind for my children? Both in resources and in my attitude, my character. What am I giving over to my children? That's what a retreat can help you do. So as I'm closing out now, I want to say, as a parent, it's important that you take a retreat so that you can always know where you currently are. Okay? You must always know where you currently are so that you can plan your next move. If you are not able to, you have to be aware of where you truly are every time. You have to be aware of where you are emotionally. You have to be aware of where you are financially. You have to be aware of where you are in your relationships. All of that is what retreats can build for you. You have to be aware, and a retreat will help you figure that out. When you are aware and you see where you want to go to, having that retreat helps you know, okay, these are the steps and these are the decisions I need to make to give me this result. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with this, that as you consider undertaking a retreat, enjoy the clarity that comes from the retreat. Okay, enjoy the ideas that drop in your mind. Enjoy the clarity that comes from properly assessing where you really are. Okay, it's a very liberating feeling when you become aware of where you currently are and you know exactly the steps to take to lead you to where you want to be. Our children are arrows in our hands. Our children are arrows in our hands. I didn't go into all the details of the structure of how to take a retreat and how to document your findings, how to express your gratitude, and how to plan your next move. But I'm hoping that with these few points of mine, I've been able to help you understand how denying yourself a retreat is also cheating your children. Okay, I right now I don't play with my alone time. Everybody at home knows sometimes I need alone time. Sometimes I'll just stay in my bedroom and lie down and think and everything. It's important that I find a way, otherwise I will not be able to give my children the best. I'm sure you know many parents who are regretting not being there for their children. Not necessarily because they didn't see, the answers lie within us. I was trying to say something. I was trying to say that the answers many times don't lie outside, they lie within us. We are just not still enough to hear it being spoken to us. We are not still enough to hear our inner voices. We are not still enough quiet and alone to hear what our spirits are truly advising us. So it's important that you take time to retreat. Some of the answers that you seek outside, they sit inside your spirit. And nobody will be able to give you that answer except you calm down, retreat, and find the answers for your family life and your children. I hope that I've been able to help you with I'll be able to convince you and not confuse you that you need retreat. Mary Beth, thank you so much. I'll be here to take questions now, contributions, and everything. Okay, Christabel. Oh, I can't see well. Oh, sure, Christabel. So please, by all means, apply it. If you start writing to her when she's 2 years old, Christabel is saying here that she will start writing from her to her daughter. Your daughter will be very articulate by the time she's 10. If you make her write, if you teach her how to use words, if you help her research into, I don't write to my children like their children. No. I use big, big words. When I'm writing, I write as though I'm writing to an adult. And when they ask me what's the meaning of this word, I say, let's Google it. Let's Google it. So you're on track, Christabel. Thank you. I'm glad. I wish you all the best in your journey as you write to your children. Let me see other comments here. Yes, self-awareness. Yes, self-awareness is very important. Saving towards their schooling even from birth. Even from birth. Yes, it's very true. I mean, abroad, don't we know people that have savings from when the children are born? I mean, it's only here that people despise saving for children's school fees and they insist on because abroad, school is free to high school, but in college, you pay for all the time you didn't pay in high school. So many people have trust funds for their children. And you don't need to be wealthy to have a trust fund. You just need to have a plan. You have to just have a steady plan to save towards your children in order to affect them and all that they do. You can plan for it. You can plan for your children to travel. My children have been to 5 countries, and I trust you. I'm not a billionaire. Not yet, anyway. But it's a plan. It is in a retreat we made that decision. My husband and I have never been able to go on a retreat with my husband before, but we went on a retreat once together, and it was such a fun time. I remember that there was so much we talked about, and right there and then we made some decisions for our lives. I want my children to be well-traveled and go around the world. A retreat can help you do that. And in fact, I'm even going to include my children in the retreats moving forward. As they are getting older and writing letters now, we're going to talk about, I'm going to introduce them to different books, different thoughts, what they call them now, different thoughts and the way
Ashida,
people
are you
think.
still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. So I'm going to even introduce my children to start retreating on time so that bad influence, when you're under peer pressure, I will tell them, take a retreat, withdraw, go and think about this. Must I be in that clique? Must I be friends with these people? What value are they adding? Are they the kind of people that my mommy will want me to be friends with? Oh, so this retreat, we're handing it over to the next generation. We are handing it over to the next generation. So, Mary Beth, I'm here. Parenting is planning. Yes, school of thought. Thank you very much. I'm going to introduce them to different schools of thought, and we are going to discuss them. What do you think? You know that we have all sorts of schools of thought these days. I don't want to sound critical, and I don't want to be called to describe as someone that has a phobia. So I'm not going to mention anyone, but there are some things that are being peddled outside that your children are going to encounter. So mommy, what are your views about this? And I'll ask them, what do you think about this matter? We can have family retreats. We can have retreats, personal retreats. We can have recreational retreats where we go on hiking, sports retreat. I didn't have time to mention. There's so much about retreats. Retreating is such a rich aspect of life that if you make a plan of it, you're going to enjoy your life and your time with your children. Mary Beth, please, you can come on now. I know that I've exceeded my time. Thank you so much. Loving the retreat idea. Yes, yes. Thank you, Chidima, for that contribution, School of Thought. So let me just run through the contributions. They download stuff. Yes, so they download stuff. They have stuff that you have no access to, and you need to be able to interact with them so that they can trust you, Mary Beth, I'm ready. And if you have any questions or anything, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry your comments are not showing openly here on the chat, so I have to read them from the screen, or I have to cross over. And once I'm there, I don't know. Yeah, so you can't carry last. If you carry last, Chidima says be smart. If you carry last, they will not respect you. You don't know these children. They will not respect you. When you say, I want to advise you, they feel, what do you know? So you must keep up. You must keep up with these children. You must know what is happening in the world. You must know, and then you must have time to sit down and have those discussions with them. And what better way than to have a retreat? Take time off. There are so many nice places in Abuja that you can go to if you are in Abuja. And I'm pretty sure every town in this country, and if you're outside the country, there are places that you can jet off to. You can just spend time in a happy environment. The children are more willing to talk. If you're home, where home is always where you shout. When you move away to home, go to a nice hotel or a nice resort, you're more, usually you are more happy to spend some money, and they are more happy to respond to you. And then you can bring up life-altering conversations, teaching them about your principles, your precepts, and everything in a retreat. So enjoy having a retreat by yourself, and then of course enjoy having a retreat with your family. I wish I said that earlier on, because that's a major aspect of my own strategy. Family retreats are going to be a massive part of my life. My children are going to learn how to have retreats and everything. So Mary Beth, Holiday Inns, yes, so much. So you guys are already on top of it now. All I needed to was just drop the seed, or at least say something about retreats, and your minds are already flying. You already know what you want to do with your children. You already know what you want to do with yourself. You already know the benefits of retreating. A lot comes to your awareness at retreats, and of course, it reveals true priorities. At a retreat, you might find out that I'm actually not spending enough time with my family or my children, and I want to reverse that. Or you can mitigate the challenges that you experience in a retreat, family life challenges. So I really hope that Mary Beth is off, right? Mary Beth is off. Please ask questions. Let's interact. Let's interact. Find it. Yes, we do mom and dad outings only where we talk. Fantastic, Chidima. You should keep that up. At retreats, visions are made. Visions are made clearer. Yes. So Mary Beth, you can come on. I'll be willing to take any questions or contributions so that I'm sure if I talk for too long. Retreats are a fantastic way to ease the pressure of life and endeavor to take them as often as you can. A lot of people do retreats at the end of the year, but I recommend that you take retreats as often as you can. Okay? Some of the solutions that you seek, some of the ideas that you pursue may lie within you. Okay? Okay, so how can we do it if dad is not involved? How do you get dad involved without clashing with him? Okay, so this was what I told someone yesterday. She mentioned that I'm not a relationship coach, but I noticed that whenever we're talking about personal development, relationship issues always come up. I told her my story. I said that many times when I see and I'm doing something that I know is beneficial for my family, I discovered that anytime I wanted to share it with my husband, it would be met with resistance. He will reject the idea, not outrightly, but he will just act like, look, I'm doing other things. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. So I stopped trying to persuade him that this idea that I have was beneficial for everyone. I started to work on myself, and that's where self-awareness comes in. I spent time working on myself. I spent time trying to change my attitude, my perspective to challenges. Whenever he didn't do something I wanted, the old me would have reacted by maybe disagreeing openly. I just said, okay, how normally, why do I feel offended by this, whatever? If it were a friend that I treasure and that friend didn't agree with me, would I not take time and explain this thing to the friend? So I had to work on myself, right? And I began to apply it to my own life. So instead of saying that he must join us on the retreat, I just started taking retreats. In fact, one time I told him I wanted to travel and please, I wanted to be in Dubai. I really wanted to do a retreat. So when I got to Dubai, I went with a friend. I sat down and had time to really, really think about some things. I made some decisions. I wrote down some stuff. I just made a lot of decisions. And because nobody was there fighting for my attention, I had time to really, really digest and look at the challenges, everything that came with it. Then I came back home. And then I put it to action. I made sure that whatever I thought I wanted to pursue was not going to clash with him and his issues. I just anything, just avoided anything that would bring the clashes, and I began to work on myself. By himself. By himself, he said, I don't know, but since you came back, you have changed though. Whatever it is that they did to you there, I want it to. And we had a good laugh. And so I just continued to do what I was doing until by himself, he said, you know what? I told you we had a retreat once, right? He was the one that suggested the retreat. He was the one that said, you have been doing some of these things. I want to go on a retreat and everything. So I said, would you like me to join you? And I'm like, he was like, oh, why not? I didn't even think you could. So I said, oh, there are many ways to conduct retreat. You don't have to go and suffer. Don't carry 1,000 books. You will not read it. Let's not deceive ourselves, So I said, let's go on the retreat together. And we went together. In that retreat, we had, from that day, there are some things now that if I say let's do it, no resistance, because the retreat brought out so many things. We looked at our real finances. We looked at our relationship. We decided we're going to be doing XYZ moving forward. We looked at we looked at our relationships with some mentors and role models. We made a decision to improve on it. And when all those things, when he saw that this thing is so beneficial, I already feel like we're making progress. It was easy to bring him on board. So Chidima, you were asking, Exactly. So you say you got your husband to fall in love listening to coaches by watching from TV in the living room. So you see, there are ways, your husband or your wife, how you want to get them on board. I know that I wasn't going to get him on board without the evidence showing in my life. The evidence of this thing that I think is beneficial. I had to bring it on myself. I had to work on myself to be able to gain his trust that what I was proposing was a better way to handle stuff. So from hearing he started commenting, now it reminds me of who I watched today. Chidima, that's interesting. I'm glad to hear this. Work in me is key. Men, what to see. Sorry, I can't. I'm finding it difficult to read. If it's working, yes, exactly. If it is working, he will eventually join the stress. So Mary Beth. Kudos to you, Chidima. If you play it loud and he will listen, that's fine. Not everyone will listen like that. I know my husband won't. He will be looking for something to do just so that I will not disturb him, So the evidence is to get it working in my life. Okay. So thank you so much for your contributions. I'm glad with the interactions that have come. So Mary Beth is having challenges joining the live stream. So Mary Beth, please, can you give instructions in the chat for me to know what to do? Okay, for me to know what to do. Once you get daddy involved, eventually get the children involved. Yes, visions are so powerful, and visions are made clear at retreat. So, Mary Beth, please leave something in the comments below and let me know what instructions to take. Thank you very much, Chidima. I'm grateful for your kind words. So, I hope that I'll get feedback, and if you do want like a more detailed approach to it, Mary Beth can tell you how to find me, and how to get the book if you are interested. All right, so Mary Beth, how do you follow me? Just follow me on Instagram. My name is Ochudo Ayi. Ochudo Ayi. One word. My name and surname. Ochudo Ayi. So my name is showing on the screen on Instagram. I think my Facebook is full, and my Facebook page. I think there's a lot of stuff on Instagram. I think Instagram is the new place. I'm really big on Facebook, but my Facebook profile, I don't think I can accept new friends except you want to follow. I think there's a link for follow on my Facebook. So I have a very vibrant Facebook profile, but you can follow me on no, AYI, not E, AYI. I for iPhone. I for iPhone. I for iPhone. Yes. So, Mary Beth, I'm still awaiting.
All right, Ochudo, I'm hoping that there's any luck that I am on the stream. Am I on the stream?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you
All right,
are.
thank you so much, ma'am. I don't even understand. I don't understand. It's raining here, but I don't even think it's just the rain. I think for some reason the network just
Thank you, Chidima. Everyone here can follow me, Ochudo Ayi. Ochudo Ayi. AYI. Thank you so much. And let me know what you think about the session. You can send me a DM. Let me know if you found this valuable, and possibly what you're going to do to apply. Chidima has been saying what she's going to do. So for the other people who have been watching, also let me know what you're going to do. Okay, all right. All right, so Mary Beth has given me permission to end the live stream without her. In my last words, I'm going to say, brave warriors know when to retreat. It's a quote, and please forgive me, I forget who originally made that quote, but it's something Connolly, Sarah Connolly, I think Sarah Connolly. She said that brave warriors know when to retreat. In other words, it's okay to be brave, it's okay to be a warrior, it's okay to be strong, but more than it all, you must find time to retreat. Strong soldiers, and you are all soldiers. Every parent is a soldier. Every parent taking care of another person's child, having those of yours and other people, everybody leading here today is a warrior, and every warrior must find time to retreat. So with these few words of mine, I'd like to end this session on behalf of Mary Beth. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those who have been following. I hope that you get to find time to retreat. You are going to benefit a lot more than I've probably even shared in the books, okay? In my book, I listed a lot of trigger questions. You want to get them. So thank you so much for having me. I'll see you next time by God's grace. Thank you for everyone. And Mary Beth, congratulations once again on the success of your event. God bless you. And I'll be signing out now. Joyce Connolly, yes. Joyce Connolly. Thank you, Chidima. You have been such a pleasant audience. God bless you.